Here's another retrospective questionnaire video for the viewers. My question today is concerning Romans 22. Is Calvinism correct or not in regards to Romans 22, where some were just born for hellfire and how does that conflict with a person's free will or free agency? My personal belief is everyone is born with a free will or free agency. So I'm having a lot of difficulty with this. So I'm having a lot of difficulty with this chapter 22 of Romans. Wondering why, if God is the potter and he makes all of humanity the pots, does he make some? And I used to believe that Jesus created heaven or hell for the adversary and not for humans, unless those humans in defiance turned to the adversary and Satan and became satanic worshippers. But now, because of this chapter, Romans 22, it's caused me to believe, well, not believe actually, I still don't believe this, but it's caused me to wonder if God is saying that there are some he has created, knowing that the destiny for everyone, but whether they have a free will or not, if well, I don't want to say if it's okay that God still wanted them to be created, knowing that they would go to hell, or what. It's my struggle is with what would their free will be like. A person that's a vessel for destruction, and it brings two other verses up with me that God delights not in the perishing of the wicked. And when you talk about vessels for destruction, it also makes me think of the one about there are some things in a household to be burned, and some things of value to be saved. And many of these deep ideas lead me back to thinking, the other one was why God, when he said it would better be if Judas Iscariot had not been born. So the topic of this video is a retrospective that I can maybe get some feedback, comments, subscribers, and fellowship about this in regards to why would Jesus say it'd be better if Judas was not born, had never been born? Why would he have allowed it? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is how much free will do people have? And I guess it goes in correlation with Pharaoh. I've heard that Pharaoh had free will, and God didn't harden his heart until after he had hardened his heart multiple times. But the thing that's the nagging question inside that I have right now is, why would God allow a person to be born and live if he knew that they would just reject him and end up in hell? And why is hell eternal, or the lake of fire? And wouldn't it be better if they didn't exist? Now, I'm not exactly a person that believes in annihilism, but I've never heard a good argument against annihilism. Seeing as God speaks things into existence, and when he says eternal hellfire and lake of fire, could it possibly mean something that we are just not aware of, where they cease to exist sometime? Because when Jesus says, and their smoke of their torment rose up forever, to me it sounds like he was saying that that's something he witnessed, their eternal suffering, as though it just happened in a small amount of time and then they're done, meaning that it's possible that they do cease to exist after a while. I just find no point in them suffering continually. I can see why they're cast out of his kingdom, and I can see his wrath and how it's just and for that, but I don't see any point that his wrath would be eternal against them when he could probably just cause them to no longer exist. I don't believe God has any limitations. I don't believe he cannot lie. I believe he chooses not to, and I don't believe that he doesn't have the ability to cause someone to cease to exist. He caused them to exist, therefore he must be able to cause them to not exist. And that seems, people always say, well, if you question, people always seem to be against questioning God. Now, I don't think God's against us questioning him when we're humble and there's a good reason. Now, I'm not saying I have a better idea, because I'm not God. I don't have a better idea. But I do happen to believe that it would have a great deal of point to have them not exist as far as matters of love, than to just have a continual fury and wrath, without any end, in accordance to our view of eternity, meaning that it has no end. Please feel free to comment on this. I really need the feedback. Thank you.